Hello and welcome back to Love Advice TV. It's been a while and I'm so excited to be able to do new videos for you guys. You know how much we love to do videos for you. You fuel our fire, we give you more content. My name is Coach Adrian and I am one of the hosts on Love Advice TV alongside my partners, Coach Alex and the amazing Coach Natalie that you know very well, We love doing these videos. And today I wanted to talk about one question that came up a lot in my one-on-one coaching sessions this week. And it's this notion of seeing an ex change after a breakup or separation or when going through a divorce. Many of my clients don't recognize the person that they fell in love with. It's as if he or she completely changes after the breakup. Perhaps they become cold and bitter. Perhaps they start partying like crazy. Or perhaps he or she, your ex, starts doing things that they said they didn't like or that they never did before. And I understand how confusing that can be for you. Because on one hand, here you are trying to desperately fight to save your marriage or your relationship by being that best version of you, the one that we keep talking about, referring to in these videos, in our personal development style of approach to breakup recovery. And at the same time, you feel that your ex is going in the other direction. They are not improving. They are picking up bad habits. So why is that? And what should you do if you see an ex who is in some ways self-destructing? Number one, you have to understand that for your ex, there's this notion of newfound freedom and independence. They have probably been unhappy for a long time, probably for longer than you realize. And so once this notion of freedom and independence is implemented after a breakup, they go all out. They start to binge and do a lot of mistakes in the process. Because many times people feel that more freedom, more independence, more partying means more happiness. But it's not the case. It is not the case. And just like you have to learn how to cope with the breakup and how to be a single version of you, your ex also has to go through that process of learning how to be single, rediscovering themselves without you. And the tendency, of course, is to overdo some of the things that perhaps were lacking in your relationship, or to completely try to reinvent themselves in very much the same way as teenagers try to create an identity when going through the age of maturity. So if your ex is partying a lot, don't panic. It doesn't mean that they're going to meet someone new and fall in love and that you'll never hear from them. A lot of times when people go out and party and do all sorts of things that are not really healthy or productive, it's because they're trying to hide some level of despair, desperation, or feelings of insecurity and anxiety. A lot of times that's why people party. And you have to give yourself a little bit more credit than that. You're not that easily replaceable, especially for those of you coming out of long-term relationships or marriages. Just because your ex is now hanging out with tons of new women, or just because your ex is splurging pictures on social media and seems to be having the time of their lives, it doesn't mean that they are upgrading or that their lives are necessarily going to be better off without you. And the risk, the danger that I've seen over the last few years is that instead of focusing on you and instead of healing and going through a process of empowerment, you start to adapt to what your ex is doing. You start to feel insecure, and your anxiety leads you to making more mistakes, to continue to put them on a pedestal and to chase and chase and chase, and thus to narrow your window of opportunity, or at least to continue to push your ex away. So if you don't recognize the person that you were with, it is normal. That's what I want you to understand and to take from this video. It is normal that your ex changes after a breakup, and you should be changing too. You don't want to be the same version of you. You don't want to be as clingy, and you don't want to continue to act as if you were in a relationship, because if you do, you won't have anything new to offer to them. And it'll take so much longer than it has to. So, number one, it's normal for an ex to change. That is what I see most of the time in coaching sessions. People of all ages, all background, all over the world, both men and women. And the key is to stop focusing on them and their behavior, and I know it's hard, and to focus on the goals that you've set out for yourself, to learn to enjoy life again, to discover how to be single, to go back to doing the things that made you appealing in the first place before you fell in love with your ex. That is the key. Not only to feel better, but also to win them back. I hope that you learned something from this video. I hope that you will take the steps that are necessary to not be fazed by your ex's partying ways or by the change that you see in their behavior, and to continue to focus on you, because that is what our process is all about, and that is how you're going to get them back. As always, please fuel our fire, like this video, subscribe to our channel, share all the questions that you have for us, and it will be our pleasure to provide you with answers and feedback. We're always here for coaching sessions as well. It's my favorite part of the job, and it would be my pleasure to work with you one-on-one. As always, my friends, keep fighting the good fight, and see you soon.